obsessed with guns and martial arts doesn't ring true with a former colleague who worked with Dwyer as a doorman at a Galway nightclub.
So here's the thing, he was young, you know, and a lot of lads are interested in those kind of things, but I mean, that doesn't mean that they're any kind of a sinister character or anything like that, you know, I mean, I don't know, I think the press like to sensationalise these things, you know, so.
Though portrayed as an expert kickboxer, the reality was different. We spoke to kickboxing coaches in the Galway area and found one who had trained Michael Dwyer.
No way we'd be a martial arts expert. He'd be just a beginner. He'd done it about 3 weeks and then he'd come back, maybe he might miss a week and he'd come back again. Like, I mean, he was very interested now in what he was doing and he was very interested in it, but as to do it, he wasn't great actually, to be honest. He was just what we call a novice. He used to ask me a lot of questions, that's how I remember him. He'd ask me a lot of questions, a few questions after like me. He was definitely interested in the knowledge of martial arts, but to actually do it, I think it was a different story. I think he just wanted to kind of, I don't know.
It may be that the tough man image contributed to his death.
Porque la policía entra con más seguridad en la habitación de Dwyer y de Eduardo Rosa Flores. Porque tanto Timo Reves como Rosa Flores a Michael le han presentado como el hombre fuerte, el que va a proteger al líder. Era el guardaespaldas de Eduardo Rosa Flores. Y cuando hablan con los informantes de la policía, siempre dicen que Dwyer es el guardaespaldas de Eduardo, que es un hombre que es capaz de matar con sus manos. Se fabrican un mito y la policía cree que los dos hombres duros son Eduardo Rosa Flores y Dwyer.
By last April, Tibor Reves and 2 of Dwyer's colleagues from his days at the Shell pipeline had long gone from Bolivia. There is no suggestion of wrongdoing by those men. Rocha Flores' core group was reduced to 5. Among them, Hungarian Arpad Magyaros, who was killed. He had told his family he was going to Bolivia on vacation, though like the others, his hotel bills were paid for by Santa Cruz businessmen he had never previously met. Bolivian-Croatian Mario Tadic, now in jail in La Paz, says he travelled to start a tourist venture. That never happened. Hungarian Elad Toasso, also in jail, says he came for computer work. That too never materialised. And Michael Dwyer left Ireland to go on a security course, which also never happened. Last Saturday, Primetime flew to Alicante in Spain to interview a former mercenary who claims he met Dwyer in South America. What role does he think Dwyer played in the Rocha Flores group?
Conocí a Miki, él era parte del grupo y aparte estaba entrenando a otra gente boliviana.
Hernandez Mora is an explosive expert who fought with Rocha Flores in Croatia. Bolivian police want him on suspicion of aiding the Rocha Flores group. He denies involvement, though in this murky world it can be hard to separate fact from fiction. Hernandez Mora claims he met with Rocha Flores and Dwyer late last year in Argentina. Does he think Michael Dwyer knew what he was getting involved with?
Él sabía perfectamente qué estaba haciendo en Bolivia. Más él me llamó varias veces e intentó contactar conmigo porque vendiéndome la película de que estaba con Eduardo, y pues Eduardo andaba conmigo diciendo que estaban allí porque iba a ser los nuevos que llevaran.
The view of Dwyer as a trusted member of Rocha Flores' inner circle is widely held in Bolivia.
Presumimos que Dwyer era el guardaespaldas de Eduardo Rocha Flores. No era uno más del grupo, sino era un sujeto determinante. Porque si uno ve, Mario Tadic dice, las últimas conversaciones a mí me aislaban, yo no participaba. Dice, ¿no? Toasso también dice exactamente lo mismo, pero siempre participaban en las reuniones, tanto Dwyer, Maggiorazzi, parte del círculo cerrado y central, diríamos quizás el círculo cuasi militar al lado de Eduardo Rocha Flores.
Here Dwyer is pictured in Santa Cruz, counting $100 notes with guns at the ready and thousands of dollars on the table. It's a lot of money in South America's poorest country, where average income per head is less than $30 per week. Rocha Flores' group was funded by local businessmen, but behind the scenes there were bigger backers. In an email to a potential recruit found in his computer, Rocha Flores claimed he had already spent $25 million on the cause.
Hay mucho dinero, más de lo que ellos pueden imaginar. petrolíferas, compañías gaseras, compañías internacionales y ONGs.
Rocha Flores spoke of defending Santa Cruz, but documents allegedly on the group's computers suggest that civil war was the real objective. Police say they found hundreds of combat and bomb-making manuals. Many, like the terrorist explosive handbook detailing IRA bomb-making methods, are easily available on the internet, while some are classified US and Spanish military manuals. They included instructions on how to make booby-trap bombs, homemade chemical bombs, and combat training with pistols. This jail holds one of Rocha Flores' men, whose alleged job was to simplify those manuals for anti-government rebels.
Cuando nosotros fuimos a la cárcel a entrevistar a Mario Tagle, él nos dijo que Eduardo Rocha le contrató para resumir, sintetizar manuales militares para entregar a algunas personas en Santa Cruz. Son casi 400 manuales que han sido encontrados en las computadoras y cada uno de estos manuales son manuales militares.
But there is still much mystery about Michael Dwyer. If he was part of a secret terrorist conspiracy, he certainly didn't live secretly. Santa Cruz is sprawling and featureless, but it has plenty of nightlife, and the Irishman took full advantage. He regularly socialised with his girlfriend and members of the group, and is pictured here at a carnival. All the while he posted updates on his life in Bolivia on his personal web pages.
For a supposedly secretive cell, they did party a lot.
They like to go for having a good time at night, like you, like me, like normal people.
Checking into the Hotel Las Americas in Santa Cruz, he even gave his correct name, home address in Tipperary, and email address.
If we're going to assume that Rocha Flores and Dwyer were plotting some sort of separatist activity, Santa Cruz would feel like a very safe environment to them. You know, the city of Santa Cruz is very, very unified in a lot of ways in terms of its politics. They were among friends. They were among people who they didn't think necessarily would rat them out.
But one man at least was ratting them out. A man known as El Viejo, a former leader of a local extremist group. Although he had impeccable anti-government credentials, he was in fact a police spy. He videoed this conversation, at which Dwyer is present, in which Rocha Flores laments missing a chance to blow up the Bolivian cabinet at a recent ministerial gathering. Of all the men, though, Dwyer was more likely motivated by money or adventure rather than politics. While three of the group in Las Americas were associated with far-right politics in Hungary, and the other was a veteran of the Balkan Wars, Michael Dwyer had no obvious interest in politics.
I wouldn't have thought that he'd have been very politically sort of orientated at all, really, or politically set in his ways at all. And I never got the impression that he was into any kind of extremist ideals or anything like that, you know. It just seemed like a normal fella, like, you know.
There has been a lot of speculation about Michael Dwyer since his death. It has been suggested that he was a racist and even a neo-Nazi. Some newspapers have highlighted Michael Dwyer's tattoo that partly resembles an SS symbol, though unlike the Nazi symbol, the apparent SS tapers off at the end.